Okay, friends, over the last few years, many IFAs have started using seminars to acquire new clients. These seminars could be presentations to corporates in their offices. These seminars could be presentations to club members such as Rotary and so on. Or these could be investor awareness programs. There's a lot of time and effort which is required to make these seminars a success. So I thought it was appropriate that I invite Amit Trivedi, who runs Karmayog Knowledge Academy, to come and tell us about how to conduct these seminars most effectively. To many of you, Amit would be a familiar face. Many of you would have benefited from his extensive knowledge and deep insights because he's a trainer and a very loved one at that. In his last job, he was heading the IFA channel for Franklin Templeton, and his understanding of the retail market in India is perhaps unmatched today. Amit, can we have you here if you are kitted? Okay, a big round of applause for Amit Trivedi.
So good afternoon, everyone. And I think many of you would be surprised to see that I have closed the laptop. I'm going to talk about seminars. Yeah. But before we start, I think I would like to thank Prem for inviting me here and strategically placing my session in between the CIOs and Gaurav on one hand and lunch on the other, so that the presence is ensured in the room. Thanks, Prem, for that. I believe most of you are familiar with a very popular, very famous law called the Murphy's Law. It says if something can go wrong, it will. And I had planned my presentation also keeping that in mind, that I'll start with some actual examples that I've come across where something has gone wrong with the presentation. But then, God willing, we actually came to a situation where instead of sharing any of the previous examples and speaking about those, I'm demonstrating it. So my presentation could not be loaded onto the laptop. So I'm going to talk about how to conduct a seminar without showing you a presentation. Okay. So that's life. That's how it happens. As Prem was mentioning, a lot of IFAs don't use seminars for client-related activities, and I am using the word client-related activities. There could be two levels of activities. One is acquisition, and second is relationship management. Seminars can be effectively used for both, and a lot of people don't use it because seminar is definitely not an easy idea. You can, if you want to know how difficult it is, meet Prem during lunch and ask him what all he has gone through to organize this event. Incidentally, I mean, just on a lighter note, it's quite funny that somebody who does such a wonderful job on his own invites somebody like me who doesn't organize events and only goes as a speaker to talk about how to do a good job in organizing an event. So, Prem, wonderful arrangements, and thanks for this also. What could seminars be used for, and what are the advantages of conducting seminars? Number one, both Prem and Gaurav talked about it's an opportunity to network with clients. They insisted that you should go and talk to your clients. This is a phenomenal opportunity to talk to the clients. Gaurav also shared a mail which his office sent to his clients in the time of turmoil. You could use two approaches: one, sending a communication, and second, a seminar. Do a seminar. Many of you were present in September, October, November with one of the fund houses. We did a few sessions exactly picking up the point that Gaurav had mentioned in the mail. We talked about what was happening in the equity markets, we talked about what was happening in the debt markets, we talked about what was happening in the gold and currency markets. Now, what was the whole idea as far as that AMC was concerned? The whole idea was the IFAs who keep meeting the clients on a regular basis, they are facing the same questions time and again. Do they need somebody to go and tell them what to talk to their clients? Not really. Actually, you guys get so much knowledge from so many places that somebody like me can't come and add any bit of knowledge. But it was nothing but a neutral guy who's least affected by the market turmoil, because I don't manage clients, to come and talk to you that, okay, don't worry, everything is fine. And you can go and convey the same message to your clients. Don't worry, everything is fine. These things do happen. These things keep happening. That's a phenomenal opportunity. Seminar allows you to talk to a very large number of people, and you can convey a uniform message at one time to a large audience. So that's a huge advantage. Number two, it also is a feel good. When you invited somebody over a cup of tea or snacks or lunch, depending on what your budget permits, anybody is going to feel good. And then anyway, you're going to talk about something good. So that also is a feel-good factor. On the other hand, it could also be your show of strength. Okay, these are my clients, these people listen to me. And some of the others who are attending that, they also get a feel that with so many people listening to this guy must be something. So you also create that show of strength or feel-good factor among the participants. And I'm using the word participant once again. These could be your clients or these could be prospects, both. But one more point comes to mind at this juncture. The topic of the seminar is grow your business regardless of markets. Now, I have a slight disconnect with this regardless of markets, and I'll come back to that once again. Especially in such markets when fear is the prevailing emotion, when uncertainty is the prevailing emotion, if you go and talk to your clients, I think it creates a very, very powerful impact. So this, according to me, is the most appropriate time to showcase that you care, to go and talk to your clients. Gaurav said something beautifully well. He said, if you don't care for your clients, somebody else will. You know, there's a huge danger. If you don't communicate to your clients, somebody else will. And you have full control over what you can communicate and zero control over what somebody else will go and tell your clients. That also it's quite important that we go and talk to clients. It also is an opportunity to show that you are doing something with the client's money, client's financials, you are taking care. So for that, let me use an example of a football game. And I've used this on many occasions. You watch these football matches, there's something called a penalty kick. In case of a penalty kick, there is a striker, and from a particular penalty kick point, he has to kick the ball in the goal, and there's only the goalkeeper standing there whose job is to stop that ball from going inside the goal post. Now, think of the goalkeepers. Assume that you are the goalkeeper, and there's somebody who is about to kick the ball. What should you do? Should you jump to your left? Should you jump to your right, or should you stand where you are? What should you do? I'm giving you three choices. You can jump to your left, you can jump to your right, or you can stand where you are. What do you do? Stand there? Okay. So somebody says you just stand there, do nothing. Okay, so that's one idea. Somebody at one point suggested that you should anticipate as a goalkeeper where the ball is likely to come. But statistics suggest that there is a huge disadvantage being a goalkeeper in such a situation. The response time that the goalkeeper takes the moment the ball is kicked, from that moment to move, it takes 0.27 seconds. And for the goal to travel from the penalty spot to the goal, it takes 0.13 seconds, less than half the time. So if the goalkeeper waits for assessing the situation, it's already too late. So somebody in the US conducted a research on this whole subject and said, what should the goalkeeper do? So they divided the goalpost into 3 parts, left, right and center, and analyzed some close to 300 matches where at least one penalty kick was taken. And the final answer was, in those 300 odd matches, the goal was kicked on the right side of the goalpost 1/3 of the times, in the center 1/3 of the times, and on the left hand side 1/3 of the times. Now if the goalkeeper looks at that statistic, he's even more in a sadder situation. Because now if he jumps to the left side, the probability of saving the goal is 1/3. He remains where he is, 1/3, and he jumps on the right side, 1/3. So that's why what you said does make sense. He should not move on either side. But now look at it from the perspective of somebody who's watching the match. Somebody who's watching the match, if the goalkeeper jumps on the left side and the ball goes on the right side, somebody is going to say, at least he tried. Anyway, the odds were against him. But if he doesn't move, somebody would say, tomorrow check his bank balance. And unfortunately, a distributor or an advisor is a goalkeeper. So if you stand where you are, God save you. Client feels, पैसा तो मेरा गया, तुमने क्या किया? It's not a good situation to be in. ऊपर से फीस मांगता है, अरे बाप रे, too bad. It's like IPL auctions, huh? Now, just imagine what are you supposed to do in that case. If you do a transaction in that case, the client feels at least kuch to kiya. Is that you communicated, you spoke to the client, you put things into perspective, and I think that calms down a lot of clients. Once again, it's communication, and I'm using seminar only as a medium of communication. So that's, according to me, why making a seminar makes hell of a lot of a difference. Let's revisit Murphy's Law. Because a lot of times people have said and shared that we did some seminars, but it didn't work. Classic Murphy's Law. And very often, the Murphy's Law actually goes to a completely different trajectory. Let's take today's example. Now, it's only experience which taught me that it is possible that your presentation may not get loaded, so I got a printout of the whole thing. And what I realized is, old technology never fails you. It's only the new technology that fails. I haven't seen anybody stuck on a staircase. A lot of people have got stuck in the lift. So, the first thing is, the protection against Murphy's Law is have a backup, a more reliable backup. So technology may fail you, and it happens very often. One of the days, one of the programs, there was one speaker before me, and after that there was my session, and I was charging my laptop, sitting somewhere in a corner, and suddenly somebody shouted at me, "Hey, get up from there." I said, "What happened?" So the power cord is burning below your chair. Okay, so the laptop was not charged, power cord was burning, gone. What do you do in that case? The only option that you have is either a memory or a printout. Gaurav spoke about Bhagavad Gita, that if there's more than one in the audience, I'm better than Bhagwan Krishna. Yeah, it doesn't work in seminars. It's a good solace, Gaurav, but it doesn't work in seminars. I've had some experiences. In one particular seminar, we were expecting a group of 30. 2 turned up. What do you do in that case? In another case, the organizers told me that we are expecting around 150 people. I said, okay, 150 is fine. 1400 turned up. Now, it was their problem, actually, not my problem, because they had to serve food to the people. Yeah, so not my problem. but 1400 instead of 150. Now, why such things happen? These things happen because the invitation was not proper. The process of invitation was not proper. In the second case, when instead of 150, 1400 turned up, what the guys had done was, they had highlighted that dinner will be served. Nobody had come to listen. Okay. In the first case, it was not properly communicated what is the subject matter of the discussion. So people said, okay, somebody is coming to speak about something, doesn't bother me, doesn't impact my life, it's okay if I don't go. So they opted out. Now the process of invitation is critically important. Coming to the participants, now from number, let's go to something else. In one of the seminars, I was given a topic to do a presentation on SIPs. Long-term investing, you talk about rupee cost averaging, power of equity, beating inflation. So I was fully prepared for that. When I reached the venue, what I see is, there's around 40 people in the room, all of them senior citizens. Once again, the selection of target audience and the topic of discussion were not connected. This is about people. Let's look at setup. The way the room is set up. Beautiful experience. I think it was Kanpur. In Kanpur, we went at around, for a 3 o'clock session, we went to the venue at around 2 o'clock, and they guided us that it's in the basement. I said, wonderful. I love basement venues always, because the best part of basement venues is mobiles don't work. So I love that basement venue. They said, go to the basement. I said, wonderful basement. And what I saw over there is, it was a discotheque converted into a seminar room. And you can imagine the lighting system in the discotheque. Those dim LED lights. What do you do? So I said, I've got 1 hour. So I called the guy. I said, I need light in the room. He said, okay, I'll get halogen. Okay, do that. He placed the halogen right next to the screen on which the projection was supposed to be made. Now, the moment the light is turned on, nobody can see the screen. Forget about what comes on the screen, because halogen is so powerful. So I told him, that's not proper, you change it. He changed it to the other side. Now I can't see anything. Setup. Once again, homework was not done well. The best one was, we had an evening program somewhere on a terrace, open air. How do you do projection there? And the screen also doesn't remain stable simply because of the wind. So you got a shaking screen, bright light. So I said, forget about the presentation, we'll simply speak. No PPT. These are issues because some of the pre-event activities were forgotten. The pre-event activities include, whom do you invite? Is the topic of the seminar relevant for the target audience? Is the invitation properly made so that the right number of people and right kind of people turn up for the event? Is the venue arrangement properly done? These are simple basic things. Now, a lot of people feel that, why does this guy talk about these things? These are critical for the success of the activity. Any error or any mistake in any of these things and your entire effort goes waste. So you put in a lot of hard work in getting people, organizing it, invested humongous amount of time and energy and thought. And finally, for such small matters, simply because the lighting was not good or the chair on which somebody is asked to sit is not proper, the person will only remember that, okay, the chair on which I was sitting was not comfortable and now my back is hurting. What was the speaker speaking about? I don't remember, but my back is hurting. So these are some of the scenarios which one needs to take care of. And that's why the secret of success in a seminar, and I've got only 2 phrases for that. The first one is plan the execution and then execute the plan. It applies to any activity for that matter. How much time do we have? 30 minutes. We have 30 more minutes. Thanks. I like you for that. You give me a lot of time. So before the activity is done, plan the execution. Now, the whole exercise of planning involves a few points. Number 1, what is the objective of the activity that you are doing? Please remember, when you set the objective of a seminar, you can't have client acquisition as the objective of the seminar activity. Because a seminar is not going to get you clients. A seminar is only going to get you the next warm prospect with whom you can do a meeting. So seminar is part of your client acquisition process. Seminar could be a part of your client relationship management process. So be clear about the objective of the seminar. Objective of the seminar will decide what kind of speaker you call, what kind of session you conduct. These are as far as the objectives are concerned. Once you decide the objective, set goals. And by goals I mean converting the objectives into numbers and putting a date to that number. With that goal, now the last part of this whole process will become easier. You'll be able to monitor in which direction you are progressing and whether you are actually progressing well or not. Before we get on to the final monitoring, there are certain activities to be done. We only briefly spoke about the invitation part or the venue part. Going back to objectives. Objectives, the examples of objectives could be, you want to warm up some of the new clients to make them your prospects, new prospects to make them your clients at a later date. That could be one. So it could be part of client acquisition activity. It could simply be hand-holding the clients in bad times. Today, to my mind, is the best time to go and talk to clients, do a seminar, because in today's time, there is no competition. If nobody is doing seminars, if nobody calls your clients for investment related matters, if nobody feels like uttering that phrase called mutual fund, you stand out if you do that. And they want to listen. They want to. My experience suggests that people want to listen. 26 January, in fact, Gaurav was also there and BSc had sponsored that event. 26 January, we had an investor education meet in Calcutta, in Gujarati. 9:30 in the morning, sorry, the event was scheduled for 10 o'clock. 9:30 in the morning, 350 people were sitting in the room. 26 January was a Sunday. Now one would think, on a 26 January, who would want to listen about investments? 350 people, half an hour before the seminar started, in a place which is notorious for late coming. Calcutta is not known for people coming on time. It's not known for punctuality. It actually gives an indication that probably, and Calcutta is just one of the examples, there are many more, probably the person is willing to listen to somebody who talks sense. And whatever messages he's getting, if at all, are quite confusing, or there is an absence of somebody giving any message or giving any sort of assurance. And this assurance is quite important. The answer to anxiety is only assurance, nothing else. I'm not talking about assured returns. This goal setting exercise is mathematical exercise. And why am I saying mathematical exercise is? Because you set goal at various stages. So let's take about seminar. And my objective eventually is that I want to acquire new clients, and for which I am doing a seminar activity. So I'll start with my big list of the prospects that I would like to invite. That means my first number is what is the size of that list. That's my first number. The second number is, out of that list, how many am I sending the invitation to? And why does that number, why could that number be different? Simply because my database could be old. It is prospects database, not clients database. That's why there could be changes in addresses. Okay, so that could be, the number could be different. Or in some cases, simply looking at the name, you might know somebody and you may want to drop the name. So the bigger list, then how many are you inviting? Out of that, after that, how many are confirming to attend? How many actually attend? After attending the meeting, how many are interested in further discussion? How many are interested? Out of that, how many meetings can be set? And believe me, even if somebody has shown interest, it is possible that the meeting doesn't happen for various reasons. And all of you are experienced in meeting a lot of people, and you know that a lot of times meetings do get cancelled at the last moment, and then after that you never get to meet that person ever. It does happen. So how many meetings get confirmed and how many people actually meet you? And after that, how many get converted to your clients? So write down all those stages and put your approximate conversion rate at each stage. At each of the stage, start with a number. And this number is like our typical assumptions when we are advising a client. So if you assume that for the next 30 years inflation is expected to be 8% per year, we all know that that number is an incorrect number. Inflation will be anything but 8%. Similarly, here also, all these are starting point assumptions. You put those assumptions knowing fully well that these numbers could be incorrect, and you still have to put some number to start with. Keep doing this activity. It's a learning process, and with that learning process, your accuracy of these numbers will start improving. A lot of people have shared this, that we did a few seminars, but you know, it's a fruitless exercise, it doesn't work, so then we stopped it. Just imagine if Virat Kohli gets out for 0 in 2 consecutive innings, will you stop going for betting? Sorry, I pronounced it wrong. I should have said batting, not betting. No, it was a genuine slip of tongue. Yeah. Putting these numbers is starting point. And what you do at each of the stages, each of the conversion points, is another exercise. What you do will determine your success ratio for each of these activities. And the last, but probably the most important part of the whole exercise, which is really the mantra of success, is follow-up that you do after the event. And most of the prospects don't get converted into the clients because nobody followed up. The single most important reason, or single largest reason for prospects not converting into clients, is that somebody stopped following up. There is some research done on these kind of things. It says that around 20% of prospects get converted to clients after 4 meetings, within 4 meetings. In first 4 meetings, around 20% is the conversion rate. And 5th meeting onwards, the conversion rate goes to 80% plus. Now, 4 meetings means 4 meetings done with the same person, not 4 with 4 different people. Otherwise, you can do carpet bombing. You go and go out and keep meeting everybody. At the same time, it also says that 90% of people give up before the 4th meeting is done. 90% of the times, people give up before the 4th meeting is completed. So 90% of effort generates 20% business, and 10% people, they get the rest 80% business. It's all about follow-up. And consider your seminar as the meeting number 1. So after that, there will be at least 3 more meetings before somebody gets converted. And that follow-up is critical. How much time now? 20 minutes, thanks. Now, let's look at how do you ensure that people come to the event. I would simply say, whenever you think of doing that exercise, just think of this particular event, Cafe Mutual IFA event 2014. How did it generate interest? And how was the follow-up done? There were teasers sent out to people. And they started revealing the names of speakers slowly and gradually, not in the first go. Everything was not disclosed in the first go. The whole idea is to keep generating the interest that, okay, there's something very important, there's something very interesting. Please see if you want to come and check it out. Otherwise, the question really is, if everyone is busy, why should somebody give some time out of their busy life for your event? Why should anybody spend that 1 hour or a couple of hours to come to your event out of the busy life? Because busy is not about time. Busy is never about time. Being busy is always about priorities in life. Nobody has got unlimited time. So within that time, I decide which are the activities that I want to spend my time on. How do you put your activity in the top of the list? I gave the example of this Cafe Mutual event. Once again, coming to the current time, if you can think of the question that would be bothering somebody, do an event surrounding that, or at least start sending teasers around that. One of the events that long back we had done, this was 2001. So some of you were probably not born in the industry, but that's okay. No, there are a lot of young people. So in 2001, it was a very interesting time. 2001 is a period immediately after the technology meltdown. 2001 was a period, it was a year when the World Trade Center was attacked and there was a mayhem in the market. We picked up an activity with somebody and a mailer was sent out to people. Of course, that was not a seminar. It could have been a seminar also. But a mailer was sent out to people saying, when the stock markets are down and interest rates are also low, what do you do? So that was one. In another exercise, what we did was, I'm sorry, my alarm, it tells me that hurry up. In another exercise, what we said was, and this is related to a slightly prior event. In 1996, the interest rates were very high. So we created a small story that one particular gentleman retired from a bank in 1996, took VRS. 96 was the first time that we heard VRS. So one gentleman took VRS from his bank, and at that point in time, bank was offering 14% per annum on a 5-year deposit. And this was an ex-employee who used to get 1% extra, 15% per year on a 5-year deposit, and he had, I think, around 10 lakh rupees worth of VRS kitty that it got. A lakh and 50,000, so around 12,500 rupees a month. If there are only 2 members in the family, the children are taken care of and they own their house and living in a smaller town in 96, 12,500 per month was a handsome amount. But 5 years down the line when the deposit matured, the rate had come down to 8.5%. Now, instead of 12,500, monthly income came down to 7,000 rupees. Expenses went up. So we wrote this story, and in the end we said, do you think you could be in a similar situation? Want to get answers? Get in touch with us. Yeah? No, this is a clear case of target related approach. This would be appealing to people who want to earn interest income on their portfolio. And then you can do an event surrounding that. So this kind of teasers can be put. What are you doing? You are appealing that one pain point in somebody's mind. That one pain point which is a raw now. And he is looking for solution. He comes to attend the program with an assumption that, yeah, I'm likely to get an answer. Yeah, but be genuine. Try to provide a genuine answer to that. Event invitation can also be used to get referrals. Now, Prem has already talked about the power of referrals, so I'll not highlight that. But event invitation can be used to get referrals. Let's say you are doing a seminar for your existing clients. Ask them they can get one of their friends. A lot of people have done that. And in a lot of cases, it doesn't work. So I'll go one step further. I would say, talk to your clients and say, do you think this could be interesting for some of your friends? If you think yes, can I have their contact numbers? I'll invite them on your behalf. Now the control has come in your hand, you got the database. And because you are calling in on behalf of one of their friends, they'll listen. So let's say I've got a client called Mr. Gupta. I can see Mr. Gupta sitting at the end. So I'm taking his name. So I've got a client called Mr. Gupta, and he's got another friend called Mr. Khanna who will be interested in this event. So I'll call up Mr. Khanna and say that, sir, I'm calling on behalf of Mr. Gupta. He is a very big client and very important client for me. I'm organizing such and such event, and in the discussion Mr. Gupta said, you could be interested in this. Now, Mr. Khanna will get that call. He will listen to you. He will not say, this is a pesky call. It's not a pesky call because the references come from one of his friends. The advantage of this is you get that extra power of somebody's strong reference. And that, according to me, increases the success ratio of Mr. Khanna coming for the event. So try to use event invitation also as one of the opportunities to get referrals and introductions. When you are doing a seminar for your clients or prospects, always keep a data capture form and call it a feedback form. Or you use it to collect data based on which you are going to generate some output and send a report or send a note to somebody. So some of the people have done this exercise. They've done a seminar on investing in equity markets, and after that offered free portfolio health checkup service to clients or attendees. Now this free portfolio health checkup facility is nothing but collecting the details of the client's equity portfolio. I think that's good enough. The other thing that you can use is post presentation keep a Q&A session, but the Q&A Don't circulate mic in the audience. Instead, ask them to write down the question with their name, phone number and email. So you collected their questions with their contact details, and after the event, put one of your staff members to send replies to each answers personally to the person who was asked. So that's an opportunity to connect. This entire Q&A exercise or data collection exercise could be extremely helpful in the follow-up part, because in the follow-up then you have a duty to thank each one who came and attended the program. Write a letter, thank everyone, and in that thanks letter you can write a short summary of some of the major points which were discussed. You know, when you look at newspapers or magazines that cover some of the events which have happened, they always cover 1 or 2 paragraphs of whatever each speaker has spoken about. That's enough. So if somebody spoke about 5 things, include those 5 things and put it in this thanks note. So these were the points of discussion. I thought this could be interesting for you to keep as a reference. If you want to include the Q&A and there are some interesting questions, do that also in that thanks letter. Now let's go back to our original list where to whom invitations were sent. You want those guys who have not attended your meeting to come for your next meeting, next seminar. Send them this thanks note. Don't thank them for not coming, but say that you missed out on an event. And these were the points which were discussed. It makes you appear extremely professional that somebody cares. Even if I couldn't attend the function, somebody showed the courtesy to report to me that something important happened in this event. Let me check out the next event whenever it happens. And in the end, I'll go back to that entire list that we talked about. The list, how many invitations sent, how many confirmed for attending, how many attended, how many were interested, how many meetings happened, and how many got converted. And then you have to sit and analyze what is the actual ratio as compared to what were your assumptions. Because over a period of time, you would like to refine your assumptions such that your assumptions are closer to what really happens and you don't keep getting surprises. Also analyze what worked and what didn't work, because a lot of times, take for example that event where I said 1500 or 1400 turned up. Why did they turn up? Because the food was served and food was free. So somebody, before the parliament passed that food security bill, somebody had offered for one particular day. A lot of people turned up. Analyze that. I don't want that high a turnaround. If it's meant for 150 people, it's meant for 150 people. I don't want 300 for that event. Okay. Managing that large an audience becomes once again very difficult. So keep analyzing at each stage what worked and what didn't work. Sometimes your best of efforts and best of intentions and you get unlucky. Sometimes in spite of whatever you did, you got lucky. Keep analyzing that, keep refining the whole activity. Coming back once again to the theme, grow your business regardless of the markets. I am supposed to talk about seminars, so I'll keep referring to seminar, but it applies to any sales or client relationship activity. All of us know about the power of SIP, and we keep advising our clients not to stop SIP when the historical returns are poor. It applies to seminars also. In bad times, because the external environment is bad, your conversion ratios are going to be poor. It doesn't mean that you stop doing that exercise. In fact, it is exactly that time, as Prashant was mentioning in the morning, it is exactly that time when you keep investing, you acquire more and more units. You keep acquiring more and more goodwill by doing activities in these times. Incidentally, from SIP, I'll go one step further and suggest all of us know about even value averaging. So when the times are bad, press on the accelerator, keep doing more and more events. In bad times, you anyway will not have time to do any such things. Thank you very much.
I wanted to ask, how many people have actually tried doing a seminar in this audience? How many people? So, what has been your experience, Rajesh?
The experience has been good.
Okay.
In fact, the clients do like it very much. We normally have small kind of seminars also every Saturday in our office.
Okay.
So today the office seminar has been taken by my staff.
Okay.
So,
you call them to your office?
Yeah, normally
And groups of how many?
around 8 to 10.
And what topics do you conduct?
We talk topics about, people even in Bombay don't know what mutual funds are.
Okay.
Because they go as per what media talks about and all of that. Little bit of concern areas that they have seen, a lot of things that have been given to them, through the banks, etc. Whatever was spoken earlier in the day. We usually take on those two particular topics. We take, financial health checkup, a lot of different topics that we normally do take.
Okay. Anyone who's done such events in corporates with employees of organizations, have you done them, ma'am? Yeah, give the mic to.
No, before the mic reaches there, Rajesh, I'll just would like to butt in. You said people in Bombay know what mutual funds are. Huh? So you said people don't know. Okay. Fair. I heard it the other way around. I said, okay, if people in Bombay know,
Yeah, ma'am, you were saying that you've done seminars in corporate.
Actually, we hold seminars in corporate and also in Thane, especially because we are located at Thane. And the topics are usually financial planning, debt management. It will depend on what the...
But how do you get entry into corporates? One of the major problems that people have.
we have a lot of references from our clients because the people who are our clients, they only ask us to go to corporates.
Okay.
I mean, they are one of the way of entering.
And how many turn up for such?
It is roughly from 25 to 75.
75.
I mean, the seminars which we hold in Thane on our own, the capacity of that hall is roughly 40. So 40 people usually turn up and they have a nice time. I mean.
Pankaj, you wanted to share something.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah, I did it at my society. This was sometime back, 15th August. What had happened is, I did not plan it very well. That was my second or third occasion. The prior two were not so successful. This was also not that successful. I thought that on 15th August, everybody comes down. We have a celebration there. We have some food served there. So I got some AMCs to do some presentation there. The place, as you say, it was not good. I did not prepare it well. So, though there are a lot of people known to me, they came down and we did the seminar. Interest was generated, but because the resources was not put in properly, I think the response was not good. I am planning to do it once again on holiday. Now, this is. What we have real problem, we are not good organizers.
Yeah.
We need help. We conduct a lot of, I have seen many times we come here, this kind of events are prepared, they are very nicely prepared. But since we don't have an experience, we need some AMCs to support us on this. So if we have something, nothing like it, we have 5 AMCs here. If they can support us on this, we can do a good job.
Sure. Yes, sir.
Sir, taking seminars, I would like to put it, mailers functions much better because seminar, rather than positives, there are many negatives because you doesn't know. First of all, are you inviting known people or unknown clients? Among the known, are you inviting the knowledgeable clients or unknowledgeable clients? Among the knowledgeable, are you inviting the foodie people or the non-foodie people? So all these problems create the things. And above all, in Mumbai, traffic and traveling is a hell of an experience because your clients are scattered all over Mumbai. If you are organizing in BSc, or my office is also in BSc, if you are calling here from Borivali, they will not participate. But the mailers do function very well. I keep on doing mails, hard copies. Soft copies, easily it can be deleted, but hard copies, whenever it reaches the client, if he is not interested, but he will preserve it. Whenever he is free, he will try to read it. And at least a one-pager mail works much, much better. That's what I have seen. But the client should be loyal to you. Sending mails to the unknown category does not create that impact, which seminar can create impact. So it is up to you how to design and plan your seminars.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
In the society, because I did not pay anything. In fact, not even projector. I did nothing. I just put my television set there and I did it.
So, Pankaj, budget is always a constraint. I mean, however, the size of your operation. So, you say a small IFA will have a small budget, a large company may have a large budget. But generally, budget is a constraint. So, let me just go back to, Madam was talking about corporate seminars.
See, as you rightly said, the click happens only after third and fourth visit.
Right.
Okay? Now for society, I could do it because people were known to me. If I were to do it in some hotel, if I were to spend some more money, then probably it may not be.
So let me answer that. So you are right. Your activity has to be planned keeping your budget in mind. So take for example, if you have a very low budget, then corporate seminar is an ideal activity because in many large corporates, they have their own facility where the program can be conducted. A lot of corporates, they serve the tea and snacks because it's their employees anyway. So you don't incur a lot of costs in such cases. Secondly, always have that, as I mentioned, always have that data collection mechanism in place. The moment you've got data collection mechanism, then if you feel that unknown guys, it is difficult to get in touch with them, then devise your data collection form in such a manner that you are required to respond to these people. And response, you may not want to send by mail. You ask for an appointment, I want to come and discuss this output with you based on the data that I got. So that could be an opportunity to ask for a meeting. So that entire thing should be planned is what I would say. And 3 or 4 meetings, whether you are going through a mailer, whether referral or whether seminar, the marketing activity is going to take those many meetings.
No, true. I mean, what I said, what I am trying to emphasize, if you, as an AMC, if somebody puts in more efforts, or if you have some specialist whom we can follow, nothing like it. In fact, AMC spend a lot of time and money on us, so why not some with customers, try it out and probably they would work.
Yeah.
Co-branding.
Hello. Sir,
Hello.
but since you said marketing, if you are planning seminars from marketing angle, at least I am very sure down the line, say on the 3rd or 4th seminar only, your same client is going to be exhausted. He won't be turning up for your seminars. Because every time if you are putting marketing, it should be from knowledge angles. You are trying to guide, you are trying to impart some knowledge, then only. Suppose every time, this time I am planning ULIP seminar, next time I am planning mutual fund seminar, third time I am planning estate planning seminar, pension seminars, it is not going to give, same set of clients won't be turning up.
No, which is fair. I mean, which is fair. I think in the earlier sessions also, it was discussed enough that you can't always talk business when you talk to people, right? So that's given. That's given.
Hello. No, actually, I wanted to add. I have a slightly different perspective. In a seminar, mostly you're trying to get prospects to come to you.
Yeah.
Mostly, okay. Your existing clients, I'm assuming you have a solid relationship with. Once in a while, you're calling them to update them on certain important developments or whatever may be happening. I'm mostly assuming that you're doing seminars to attract new people to come to you. So that's point number 1. Point number 2 is to devise the topics in such a way which sustains their interest. I have a need to talk about mutual funds does not mean you have a need to listen to mutual funds, learn about mutual funds. So I have to devise it, obviously. If it is, let's say, the month of January, then what the state of the market and what to do in 2014 would be a good topic to get a lot of people interested, I would assume. Or it could be if you know that the employees of a new batch of engineers has joined TCS, and TCS has invited you to talk to them. So you talk about now that you've started your career, what to do with your money.
Yeah. Okay,
seminar on that. Or how to secure your financial future. Or get started for your retirement. You think it's too early? We don't think so. Devise topics in such a way that it, obviously we're not talking about, and it will be a Herculean task in a place like Mumbai at least, to get the same people to come and listen to you 4 times.
And it actually doesn't make sense
also
if it's not your client. So if you're talking to prospects, that's where it's going to take few meetings from somebody becoming a client. And the same person you are not calling for seminars. I never meant that you call the same person for multiple seminars. In case of our clients, with clients you don't do sales talk. You don't do sales talk, yeah.
Hello, I am Pramod Puranik. I come from Nasik. I am connected with this market since 1975. So I'll give just small example. We don't need this type of seminar at all to our clients. Just this simple idea. We celebrate birthdays of various schemes by cutting cakes. And for that cake cutting, around 20 to 50 people they attend. For example, in the month of October, 15th October, we have celebrated birthday of Master Share. And after cake cutting and after explaining the Master Shares example and dividend distribution, within 8 days, I could collect more than 75 lakhs of rupees from Nasik. Because we have personal touch. Basically, this business is a relationship business, and for that, you should have personal contact. We should have regular contacts with your client, and then marketing is not at all necessary. This is my experience.
Okay. That's
Thanks.
An interesting twist, different one. But anyway, Amit, thank you so much. Been a wonderful. How many more people would be conducting seminars now that we've learned about?
Ritesh wants to say something over there.
Sorry?
Ritesh wants to say something there.
Hi, Ritesh. We are doing seminars from 1995. We have conducted around 3,000 seminars. Wow. We conducted for policemen, we conducted for BMC office, we conducted for a lot of small guys. We are not only conducting for the rich people, we are conducting for the small guys in a group of 25. And every Sunday we have a session at my school, which is near to my office, and it is regular. It's around continuous process, and we do it regularly. And response is good. People are learning a lot of things, and we never talk about schemes. We never talk about what need to be, your investment should be or how you should look at. We just focus on what products are available, how you can accelerate your investment in certain products and make good assets. That's what we planned out, and it's a regular process. And mentioning this, I was just listening to somebody said ki AMC give money. Now in 95, nobody have funded us for doing all this. What we did is, whatever 100 we earned, we kept 5% out of our pocket to do these seminars. So basically it is your business, this is your work. So I feel one should keep your own marketing expense out and do the events. That's the way I look at it. Thanks.
Okay, Amit, thank you for a lovely presentation. May I invite Sadasiv Pene to give Amit a token of our appreciation.
always listen to this.
Okay.
Thanks very much.